Oh, Monsters University, we give our heart to you. We want you to be proud of us, whatever we may do. No matter where life takes us, your light will come shining through. Oh boy. Oh, Monsters University, alma mater, hail to you. I butchered that so hard. I don't even know how it goes.
Alma maters kind of sound the same, though.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
What is up, Disney fans? Welcome.
What is up? It is spooky season.
Yes.
Woo!
It is the month of Halloween here on the Disney Cast, where we talk about everything Disney. And this month we're going to have a bunch of Halloween-themed Disney films we're going to be talking about, or at least close to having the Halloween theme. If it has monsters.
Monsters are Halloweeny.
Yeah, that's pretty much our thing.
Yeah.
But right now, we are talking about all the Monsters, Inc. Installments. We've already talked about the original Monsters, Inc.
The best Monsters, Inc.
Yes. If you guys haven't seen that, leave a link in the description below, or you could check out my channel on the playlist of the Disney Cast. It is there. But today, we will be talking about the prequel to Monsters, Inc.
Monsters University.
Yay.
Now, when they announced this was not what I was expecting from a sequel to Monsters, Inc. A prequel instead about them being in college.
Yeah, like, this is not
it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's not. This is not what I wanted for a sequel or a continuation or something to come after Monsters, Inc. Because, like, they were setting up pretty nice at the end of the first Monsters, Inc.
Yeah, you thought they were setting them up to, like, have shenanigans with Boo again.
Yeah,
or, like, maybe with her older, or, like, trying to come back to the monster world when she's not supposed to.
Right.
But like, that would have been fun. But no, this is what we got.
Yeah, you got a look prequel seeing, how did Mike and Sully become scarers?
Wow.
Yeah. So I did not see this in theaters.
Neither did I. I did not see this until a few years ago. It came out in 2013.
And it's not because nobody wanted to take me to see it. I just didn't want to.
Ooh.
I'm just gonna be real.
Oh,
I saw the previews.
Roasted.
Yeah, roasted. I saw the previews for this, and I'm just like, what? Why are we doing this?
Okay.
It's some kiddie nonsense. Even though it's a college movie, but it's like this is not. No, I didn't want to. I'll wait till it comes on TV or something.
Yeah, like, I'm not paying for this.
No. And I think this was around the time where Pixar is trying to do sequels to their classic films.
Yeah.
Like we got.
Didn't The Incredibles 2 come out around the same time?
Actually, that came out like 2019.
Well, yeah, they announced it around the same time, and it took forever.
Right. So they were doing other stuff like Finding Dory and Cars 3 and
The Age of the Sequel, A Dark Time.
Oh God. They made 3 Cars movies.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, they did that, and
I don't even remember what happens in the third Cars movie.
Well, me neither, actually.
Like, does anyone remember that movie? Anyway, we're getting off topic.
We'll get to those at some point. But yeah, there's a bunch of sequels and prequels to Pixar films, and this was one of them. Where it was like, okay. That's interesting. I don't know why we're doing this, but all right. So, when did I even see this? Where did I see this?
I don't even remember. I think someone else wanted to watch it, and I was like, sure, whatever. And then that was the first time I saw it. But I did not seek out this movie.
You did not. It's like, this is Pixar, man. It's like, whenever a Pixar film comes out, I should be excited.
I'm all about Pixar movies, but like, the endless barrage of prequels and sequels.
Right, and then it took the longest time to do a sequel that we actually wanted to see in The Incredibles.
Yeah, that took forever.
Like, oh my God, okay, but we're getting this.
Yeah.
So this one is, it's
okay, I guess.
Yeah, it's all right.
So like, they kind of set up how like Mike as a child, like always looking up to scares and wanting to be a scarer.
Yeah.
He collects scare cards.
Yeah.
That's the thing I don't like in this movie, is like they take the scarers to like the level of like pro athletes, kind of. And I
Yeah.
don't really like that vibe because that's not the vibe they had in the first movie.
No, it's not. So
Yeah.
I do appreciate that they're giving more development to Mike in this movie
Yeah.
because you felt
Like
like
he's like the focus of this one, whereas Sully was definitely the focus of the first one.
yeah. So,
Like-
but like, yeah, this whole thing of yeah. So the main scare is that because he goes on a field trip
Yeah,
with a bunch
and he
of
doesn't have
kids.
any friends.
He's the smallest one
Yeah,
there.
he has to pair up with his teacher because no one wants to be his
His,
what do they call it? Like your buddy.
buddy.
Just
I don't
buddy.
know. Just buddy that
Field
you
trip buddy.
field trip
keep
buddy.
track of each other.
Yeah, that type of thing.
No one ever lets him see anything. They make him stand in the back.
Yeah, because like
Really
he's not
tiny.
scary.
You're not scary. You don't have to see the scary.
None of y'all are scary. First of all.
Yeah, you're all tiny children.
Yeah,
Like, back the fuck up, kid.
wrong with y'all? But yeah, so they take a field trip to Monsters Inc.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where he gets inspiration to become a scare because one of the
He
main
sneaks into a room.
yeah it's teleporting.
Teleporting children.
I'm telling
That's a
you,
theme.
what is up with that? But so one of the main scares talks to Mike and be like, or actually I don't think he even talks to Mike. He talks to the children, and be like, "How did you become a scarer?" It's like I learned everything
At
from MU, and he had the MU hat on.
Someone's like, no, Fear Tech's the best, man. Fear Tech. Huh.
Yeah. And so Mike gets really inspired that
Yeah.
he ends up following that
Yeah, he
guy.
follows that dude into a room.
And then he
And
sees
they're like, oh my god, that was so dangerous.
It's so dangerous.
But he like watches him do the scaring and he's like, wow, I didn't even know you were in there. Good going, kid. And then he gives him his university hat.
Yeah. And then that's where he's like, I'm going to go to Monsters University and become one of the greatest scarers. And so he becomes a nerd and studies up on everything about scaring. And yeah, so he goes to Monsters University.
He still has the same hat.
Yep. So, I mean, okay, that's cute. He has the same hat from when he was a child. Give it to him. It's kind of like Indiana Jones when Indy gets his hat when he was a kid. So, okay, that's cool. So, he goes to the... Okay, so before we go any further, I guess I should establish. I never went to a university. I went to community college. Yeah, I'm lame.
It's way cheaper to go to community college.
Yeah, it is. I want to save money, and I'm not in school debt. So, turn up.
I mean, I have debt, so...
Yep,
I did also go to community college for a while. I did early college, so I got my associates while I was in high school. Mm-hmm. The same community college.
Oh, yeah, we
Woo.
both went to the same community college.
Yeah, and then I went to university after that and, got all my debt.
Yep, she went to Western Michigan University. I went to Oakland Community College.
Yeah, but, like, the setup event they had there, that's very, like, Bronco Bash, so realistic. Clubs trying to get you to sign up for stuff, except Western also has, like, businesses giving free shit out.
Yeah, so I'll say up from the get-go and watching this movie, it was really hard for me personally to connect to it because I never went to a university, so I don't know how the community is. I don't know how the atmosphere is, and all the college humor and stuff like that. I just couldn't fully get with it. You know, it's the same. This is a running thing. Whenever I watch college movies, I'm like, yeah, just keep rubbing it in my face. I never went there. I don't know any of this stuff. I don't know. I never was in a sorority.
A sorority?
How did I mix fraternity and sorority together?
I don't know. But they could have called it a sorority because they're
Sorority.
monsters. But no, sorority and fraternity.
Sorority
I wasn't
and
in one of those
fraternity.
either.
Yeah. So
No,
never.
I'm a fucking nerd. I didn't do any of that shit in college. I went to one party the whole time.
Yeah. So
And I only went because it was supposed to be meme themed, and I thought everyone would be in meme costumes. And so I dressed up as that one guy that's in the spooky, scary skeleton video that's like wearing all black with a pumpkin head. No one else was dressed up.
yeah. So yeah, when I'm seeing when Mike goes to the university, oh, it's really nice, and it's like all the architecture, the buildings is really nice. I will say, this movie
A lot
is
of college
very
campuses look like that.
yeah.
So like,
very nice.
yeah.
Even though I never went to university, I went with friends that went to university, and I would go to some of their parties. And yeah, there's some really nice architecture when I go to college, so that's really nice. I will say the movie overall, I think this is a no-brainer for Pixar. The movie is gorgeous. The movie
Yeah,
is,
they have really nice animation. Everything is a huge step up from the first one from 2001. This is 2013, so like everything looks nicer.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just pops on
Better
the screen.
definition.
Yes,
Like,
better definition, better
everything's
movements,
Yeah.
color. There's a lot of colors in this movie. So yeah, I'll say up front, that's cool. The look of the car,
Animation, always beautiful with Pixar.
always beautiful. But yeah, the actual university is pretty cool. There's a lot of good attention to detail with that as well. That's one of the things I liked about the first movie, attention to detail to their world, and the university is very cool. It makes me want to go, even though I'm not a monster. But yeah, it's just really, really nice. And then also still just as creative with the monster designs. There's a lot of creative monsters running around. Some that are really, really small, and some that are like as tall as a building. So really cool.
How do they fit in all the buildings, though? All those giant monsters.
That's a
Poor
good
giant
question.
monsters have to sit outside and peer in through the window for all their classes.
Yeah, like, hey, how does that work? But okay.
Is there a town for just the giant monsters that need enormous houses? Or what do they do?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Or do they sleep outside? That's really
Aw,
that'd be horrible.
That's sad. Can't question these things too hard.
Right. Oh, there was like a yellow slug that was like really slow, and he
Yeah,
was
he's like,
class.
oh, I can't be late for my first day. But like, none of the slug monsters we saw in the first movie were that slow.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Like, they could all move at a normal pace. So like, okay, funny, haha.
Yeah, it's like okay.
But like, also he would have been dealing with that his whole life. I'm sure he would have had a better way to get around if that's how fast he could move.
Yeah.
Why isn't he on a scooter?
Yeah, scooter. I'm sure they have scooters in universities, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen people scootering around my campus.
Mm-hmm.
It's opposed to me sprinting. Only when, like, I had one professor who would always let us out 5 minutes late. And I had class 10 minutes after the start of that next one, across campus and up 3 floors, so I always had to fucking run.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it was terrible. He would never let us out on time. And so I was, like, always ready to go and sprint from that building to the one I had to go to.
Yeah, like even at the community college I was in, it's like not all of the buildings were close to each other, and like I would have teachers that would let us out like 5-10 minutes late, and it's like I have to literally sprint to the other building.
Yeah, I have to get to the other end of campus. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, to any college professors that are listening to this and that do that, that's
Please
not
stop.
cool. That's not cool.
put their classes back to back so that they don't have to, like, go so many days.
Yeah.
And, like, it hurts my lungs when I have to sprint.
Right. I mean, that's some good cardio, but like, come on.
I
That's
had language class after that, too, so I had to talk. Like, I was going from a bio class to a Spanish class.
Oh, that's horrible. But yeah, that's sucky. So yeah, to talk about there's a lot of characters in this
There are
movie.
a lot of characters
So-
because they got the fraternities and the sororities, and they have all the people in the teams.
and the teachers and the
Yeah, there's just a lot
yeah.
of
So
people.
I'll say I guess we'll get the main two out the way. We already talked about Mike.
Yeah.
Sully, pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm glad they got Billy Crystal and John Goodman to voice them again, because they could have easily just been like, oh, since they're younger, we should have like younger celebrities, the voice actors, to do them. But they're like, no, we're going to get the OG voice actors. So I appreciated that, and it didn't take me out. I thought their voices fit really well, as even though they're college kids. But yeah, Sully, I thought was pretty good. He's the let me know if this applies. He's pretty much a jock at the college? Yeah. Okay, they still use jock in college, but yeah, so he's the jock there, and apparently something
like
frat boy, pretty much. Yeah, and he even has
even though he wasn't in a frat yet. He was trying to get in with Roar Alpha Roar.
Right.
That's his goal in life. Mm-hmm. And he thinks he doesn't have to study because he's a Sullivan and he's too cool for that.
Okay, so apparently there is a family heritage with him that was never talked about in the first movie.
Yeah, that's not brought up at all, but now, like, his dad is a famous scarer and, like, everyone has huge expectations for him because of his father.
Right. It's like, man... I don't like.
And there's like legacy stuff with universities. Like sometimes people get into universities. Like one of the things, okay, oh, did anyone from your family go here? And that gives you a better shot at getting in.
Yeah, I actually
like,
kind of heard about that.
Yeah.
Though it's just, it bothers me because, like I said, they never talked about this in the first
Yeah,
movie.
and so they're just like adding shit in.
Right, and then we don't ever see Sully's father.
Yeah, no, it's just brought up, oh, he's a Sullivan, so he must be a great scarer, and so he doesn't bother to study or anything.
Right, so I'm like, okay. Which, granted, you know, Sully is a really good scarer, so it's like,
Yeah.
does he have to try super hard? No.
They're like, oh, he's big and intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
So he doesn't
intimidating
do
can
any
he
of
be?
his homework. He doesn't bring a pencil to the first day of class.
You're just as intimidating as Stitch. You're fluffy, you're blue, you have polka dots, like, come on now.
Yeah, and so Mike's like, oh, fuck that guy. I gotta work really hard to be here, and he doesn't give a shit.
And now,
So they kind of set up a rivalry between them.
right, now Mike is like the exact opposite. He's trying too
He's
hard.
a fucking nerd.
Like, okay,
This is coming from a nerd.
right. So, sorry if
You
I...
gotta loosen up and have fun once in a while.
Yeah. And it's like, is
It's
there
like, I'll
really
have fun when
that...
I'm done with college and I'm a scarer now.
Right. Like, okay, granted, you know, I'm once again questioning a whole bunch of stuff with the world, but it's
Yeah.
like, is there really that... Does it really take that much to know about scares? You know? I
Well,
mean...
they do all this stuff with like, oh, you have to know the kid's phobia and where they're from, and then you have to do specific scares that'll be the most effective. Is like kind of what they're setting up. And they did have files in the first one where you could learn about the kid, like who was in the room and stuff about them.
No, right.
So that's set up a little bit. This is going into more detail with that.
Okay, yeah.
So they have these scaring lectures they go. Oh, and also Randall is Mike's roommate.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
wears glasses.
He's a dork in
He's a
this
dork.
one. He's not...
Hey, I'm so ready to be a scarer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I,
So he's not like the scheming antagonist yet.
right. I wish there was a little bit more with him because he feels like a glorified cameo, pretty much. Like
Yeah.
there's not like that much development. I would have liked to seen a little bit more of how he got from being, you know, the likable dork to being this scheming weasel that he becomes as an adult. Like
Yeah.
literally when he
Because he's nice to Mike in the beginning. They're getting along. He has cupcakes that he offers to him, tries to get him to come along to parties and stuff with him. Like, they're good in the beginning. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and then like
It's
when
not really until scare games that they're
Right.
pitted against each other.
right, so it's like even with that when he joins the main fraternity of the movie Roar.
Roar Alpha Roar.
I kind of like the different acronyms for all the
Yeah.
fraternities and sororities. That was kind of creative, but yeah, I would like to see a little bit more.
I'm gonna look over the fraternities.
Yeah, because there's a lot. But yeah, so I liked that. Also, the main one of the main professors of the university, Professor Knight, played by Alfred Molina, Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I recognize his voice instantly. It's really cool they got him in this movie. And then Dean Hardscrabble,
Yeah.
the female bat creature, her design is so cool.
She
I
has
really
a cool
like,
design,
really
yeah.
like it. Played
She's
by
freaky.
Helen Mirren.
How much does she get paid for this?
Probably a lot. It's Disney, buddy. But
Oh, it's Roar Omega Roar, not Roar Alpha.
Roar Omega Roar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was cool.
Sorry. Roast me in the comments for getting it wrong.
Do people really care that much?
No, probably not.
I don't know. Maybe.
But feel free to roast me in the comments if you want.
Yeah, I'm sure they're the hardcore MU fans being
Yeah,
like,
because I was thinking about the design that was on their thing, and I'm like, wait, that's not the alpha symbol. That's
yeah. But yeah, let's list off all the.
yeah. So should we
Fraternities and
talk about how they
sororities.
get to the scare games? Because
Yeah, we should
Dean
talk about that.
Hardscrabble comes in on the first day of class and is like, anyone who doesn't pass the exam at the end of the semester will be kicked out of the scaring program.
Yeah.
And so that kind of sets up this montage of like Sully dicking around and not giving a shit, and
Yeah.
Mike studying really hard for this exam. And like they keep kind of bumping heads a little bit throughout. And then they end up, it's the day of the exam, they have a scare simulator, and everyone has to
Oh yeah.
they like get their assignment, they have to do the scare simulator.
Yeah, so it's like Dean Hardscrabble comes into one of their classes before that
Yeah.
and says like
Yeah, she says that
with
if
the
they
exam
don't pass.
if they don't pass then they get kicked out of the scare program. Which okay, that's
They're making it seem really hardcore, like they're in law school or something.
Right.
I'm like, okay, but this is undergrad.
Right. I assume that's not what happens in
No.
universities.
But like, if they were in law school, okay.
If they're in law school, they would do that?
Maybe, I feel like that's more, like, okay. Like, your first semester of your undergrad is probably not gonna, like, determine whether or not you can stay in a program. Usually, if you do fail a bunch of stuff, you would be on academic probation at that point, and then maybe they would remove you from a program. A lot of people are also not in a specific program before then.
Yeah,
You would
like
be, like,
off from the
whatever
get-go.
program you're in, like,
Yeah.
pre-engineering or pre-med or whatever.
Right.
Like, you wouldn't officially be in a program yet, probably. Like, why aren't these people doing their gen eds?
Yeah, they just literally jump into the program. Like,
Yeah,
no,
they're just, like,
no
in the
problem,
scaring
no.
school from the start. A lot of universities, in my experience, do not work that way.
See, I would have a lot of anxiety
Yeah, a
if
lot of
I went to
people are not
university.
declared when, like... And, like, I went in as an upperclassman when I started because I did early college, so I did kind of have to be declared. A lot of people are not declared when they first get there.
Yeah.
Or, like, they have an idea, but they still have time to switch.
It's so
It's
complicated.
very intense for, like, first semester undergraduate degree.
Part of me's kind of glad they didn't go to university. This is so much to throw at you, and you're by yourself, you know?
I don't
It's
think, like, any of the deans of the colleges did I meet them, like, in one of my classes in the beginning of university.
I mean, of course, I'm sure that's like 1 in a million because of how big the university is. How lucky would
some
you
of the
be?
deans.
They just so happen to walk into your specific class.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then on
so
top
that's
of
the
the-
setup for that. Is Dean Hardsgrove was like, whoever doesn't pass this exam is out of the program.
Yeah.
See ya. And so Sully and Mike are kind of like getting on each other's case.
Yeah.
And Dean Hardsgrove like comes down and is like, hey. Oh, they knock over her scream canister that has like the loudest scream ever or something, or like
Yep.
world record scream that she has like in a statue of herself holding it. Or like her head.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like their head
it's like a
statue
bust
thing.
of
Yeah,
her.
bust. Yes.
That's what it's called.
Yes.
Our principal at high school had one of those.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
I don't even
Just
remember that.
He had that in the office. Did you not know
I
there was
never-
a bust of him in the office?
I never noticed. We went to the same high school,
Yeah.
by the way. But yeah, I never noticed that.
There was one in the office. Did you know that?
No, I haven't paid attention.
Anyway,
I don't go to the
unrelated.
office that much.
Unrelated. But yeah. So like she's super scary lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's in there and she's watching the exams and like I don't know. Sully's trying to pick a fight with Mike, and then like they're like at each other and like, they knock over her canister and it goes rocketing around the room and breaks it. And then she's like, I'm gonna test you guys right now. You're not gonna go up to the simulator. I'm gonna do this thing to you right now.
On
And
the
so
spot.
she tells, I don't remember what she said. She's like, I'm a 7-year-old girl in Kansas who's afraid of tornadoes or something. It's like, what scare is appropriate? And Sully just fucking roars in her face and she's like,
Before she even
that would have
finishes.
made her cry.
Yeah.
And that would have alerted her parents and exposed the entire monster world. You fail, you're out. Bye. See ya, bitch.
Savage.
Savage. And he should have studied.
Yeah. Should have
And
studied.
listened to the whole question. Anyway, and then she does Mike. And he knows the right answer, but she's like, you're simply not scary. You don't have it. Get out.
Jesus.
So they're both kicked out of the program. And they're like, shit. And then everyone goes home for break.
Yeah.
And they come back. They're like, oh, the scare game signups. And then Mike strikes a deal with Hardscrabble that if he wins the scare games, he'll be back in the program.
Yeah.
And she's like, sure, your whole team can get in. And he's recruited a fraternity called Uzma Kappa.
Okay.
Okay. Oh.
We're
And they're like,
okay.
you need one more person. 2 heads doesn't count as 2 people. Like, that seems a little shitty, but whatever.
Yeah, like really?
So Sully's like, ooh, I can get back in the scare program. I'm going to join this fraternity real quick. Because Omega Roy doesn't want him anymore.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
they have to end up recruiting Sully because that's the one last person that
Yeah,
they
they
need.
needed 6 people. So they're now in the scare games, which is like... I don't know. Do fraternities actually do stuff like this? Like frat Olympics, basically?
They
Like,
probably
it's the
do.
scare- Like, I was not in Greek life. I do not know.
Yeah, like,
I did live next to Fratville, though. Fraternity Village is a place by my campus. It's
Fratville?
legitimately called Fraternity Village. So everyone calls it Fratville. That's where the frat houses are, and I live near there.
Oh boy, how crazy was it over there?
Well, I never went down there.
Oh,
but
you never
you
went
can
down
hear
there.
them.
Of course. I feel bad for anyone that had to stay there. Won't be able to sleep. Won't be able to study.
Yeah, it's down by Fratville. Anyway.
Oh boy. So yeah. So yeah, they're gonna go to compete in these games, and if they win, they
can get back in,
to
but
the scare
they're
program.
yeah, but their team is not scary.
It's pretty lame, actually.
Yeah, so it's made up of Mike and Sully, and then they have Terry and Terry, one of whom is a dance major, and I forgot what other Terry does. It's Terry with an I and Terry with a Y that are twins that have 2 heads.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then there's Squishy. Scott Squishy Squibbles.
Mm-hmm. And then
Art. And then Don, who's going back to school because he got laid off.
Mm-hmm. And then Joel wait.
What?
Wait, sorry.
I'm
That's
looking at Uzma Kappa.
That's the voice. Yeah, the Uzma Kappa.
Yeah.
Don
So it's
Carlton.
Don,
Yeah.
Art, Scott Squishy Squibbles,
Mm-hmm.
Terry and Terry,
Yeah.
and then Sully and Mike
Okay. Yep.
are in Uzma Kappa.
Mm-hmm.
None of them are very scary, and they're all like in other programs.
Yep. And they're all nerds.
Nerds! It's the nerd house. They live in Squishy's house, like his mom's house is their fraternity house, and they have this tiny little sign up on the porch.
Yeah, with the okay.
Okay.
Uzma Kappa. Oh my gosh.
Sad.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Oh, what are the other?
Oh, the other fraternities and sororities that are in are Aurora Mega Roar, Ada Hiss Hiss, which is the goth one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they have Jaws Theta Chi, which is just like standard frat. Python Nu Kappa, which I think is that was the one that had like all of the Hydra like
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
they all looked the same.
Yeah.
And then there's Slugma Kappa.
I will say with the Roar Kappa Roar, the main one.
Roar Omega Roar.
Roar Omega Roar, whatever. 'Cause there's just too much. There's too
Johnny Worthington III.
Dude, okay, so I'll say this. If you saw Extremely Goofy movie, you pretty much saw this character.
Oh.
It's that main fraternity dude that competes with Max and Goofy in the movie. It's literally the same character, except he's a monster this time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like a legacy kid whose father and grandfather were in the same frat. Like going
Third
back
generation,
years.
baby.
And then there's Chet, which that's just such a frat guy name. Randall has joined this fraternity now that Sully was kicked out after he failed.
Yeah.
So like, this dude, he can turn invisible. That's great.
Yeah.
He's in our fraternity now because we needed an extra person. But like, wouldn't you have all seniors in this event? Probably, if this was actually happening. Why are there only 6 people in each of these fraternities? They got all these freshmen.
It's probably because they already knew there was a lot of characters in this movie, so
Yeah,
wanted
they're
to
like,
keep
we're
it
not
small.
going to give more.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just going to fit in these ones we already have. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I almost forgot that Randall
Yeah, that he was
Joined.
in. Yeah.
Roar Mega Roar because they don't give him much to do.
Yeah, they have him turn into like a little polka dotted rug at one point, and they're like, why'd you do harms?
Oh, brother.
That's not scary.
That's scary.
Anyway.
This could have been a really good opportunity for you to develop him as an antagonist, but no.
No, he's just kind of comic relief.
Great.
Yeah. So they do a couple events for the scare games. The first one's the Toxicity Challenge, which they're doing in the sewers.
Yeah,
In the
under a bridge or
university,
something.
And they're like, we have
yeah.
all of these. So the clue they gave them: a child's room is where you scare, but avoid the toxicity lurking there.
Mm-hmm.
And they have all of these like glow urchins that sting you and make your body puff up, and they make them run through there in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to get your whole team through, otherwise you don't make it. But Sully and Mike are so worried about beating each other that they're not paying attention to their whole team has to make it through. They think they're going to be out of the game, but then it turns out one of the other teams was cheating, so they get disqualified, and they're back in the games.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, now we got to start training these dudes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, because those little things when if they
the
touch them,
urchins,
they'll
like, that makes you puff up
swell
and
up,
like
yep.
sting you.
Mm-hmm.
Where do they get these?
That's a good question. They said they said it was specifically created in a lab somewhere.
Yeah, they're like, we got these from the biology department.
How did the biology department create something like this? I mean, I know it's a world full of monsters, so it's like we had to suspend our disbelief. But even then, I'm like, what?
So, yeah. That was the event they had to do. They almost got out of the competition right then because they weren't working together as a team. So now we have to start building some teamwork.
So yeah, they slowly try and do that, and then Uzma Kappa do their initiation for Mike and Sully. Have you heard any hazing stories in college? Or
From my university? No, not really.
Okay, good. Hazing is wrong. Stop doing it. Stop doing it.
The worst we got was for cross-country camp. We made the freshmen get hot dogs out of a plate of whipped cream with their feet.
Okay, it's not the worst
I didn't have to do any of that because I didn't go to cross-country camp my freshman year.
Wow, even the cross-country ain't safe. Like, well, that's not the worst thing I've heard. But yeah, so the pretty much their initiation is, okay, I don't know if, let me know, any college kids out there listening to this, do you actually like turn off all the lights and have a bunch of candles around and you're all wearing dark cloaks? Yeah, I know Pitch Perfect did it, but I'm like, is this an actual thing in college?
I wasn't in a frat or a sorority.
Yeah, anyone in the fraternity or whatever was in a fraternity.
Dude. Or is this something you're not allowed to talk about?
You can't talk about it. It's confidential, whatever. If you say it's confidential, that means yes. But so they're pretty much they're doing a similar initiation with that. And apparently their place is at one of their mom's house.
Yeah, at Squishy's house.
Squishy's house in the basement.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna do some laundry," and it's super loud in the back room while they're trying to do the initiation. She's like, "Don't mind me."
Oh.
What are you doing down here in the dark?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so Mike is trying to, help train everyone to do teamwork and whatever, but Sully's like,
you can't train these guys.
Right, and he's like, you can't tell me what to do. I already know what to do because I'm a Sullivan and I know how to do it.
Like, well, you already got kicked out of your program, dude.
Yeah, so
I wouldn't be such an asshole.
Yeah. Like, come on now.
What ground do you have to stand on here? You got kicked out of the program because you wouldn't study, and now they're trying to study, and you're like, I still don't need to study. Yeah. For the second one, it's called Avoid the Parent, was the game, and the clue was if a kid hears you coming, they'll call mom or dad, then you'd better run fast or things will get bad. And this was like capture the flag in the library, where like they had a scary librarian.
That was actually kind of cool.
Literally launch you out of there if you're making any noise.
The librarian is literally a kaiju monster in there.
Tentacles.
Tentacles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you make any noise, literally chucks you out of the building and you lose.
So they had to get the flag, and they end up not making noise, but distracting her in different directions so she couldn't catch any of them. Yeah, they're like, is that allowed? And they're like, the only rules, don't get caught.
Don't get caught. So I thought that was kind of creative.
Yeah, so they did actually get some teamwork going in there, and it wasn't the conventional way to do it.
Right,
but they did manage it, and they stay in the game.
Mm-hmm. It's like every time they advance, like they always end up just making it.
Yeah, like by the skin of their teeth making it through to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're starting to get some teamwork, and they're getting along, and helping each other out. Yeah. Got some good feelings going on.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, the next one's don't scare the teen. To frighten a child is the point of a scare. If you frighten a teen, then the scarer beware.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like, don't scare the teens. They're going through this maze, and if a child pops up in front of you, you have to scare them. But if it's a teen, you have to hide.
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, okay, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, so you have to identify like if it's a teen or a kid. And then the one sorority that had like all of the the hissy, like, pretty ladies who all look exactly the same. They can't tell a teen from a child, I guess, and so they get all boxed in.
Yeah, come on.
And then they get eliminated.
Mm-hmm. So they're just automatically assuming that teenagers can't get scared of monsters at all.
Apparently, they become immune. It's like in Fairly Odd Parents how, like, the teens can't make wishes anymore because they don't care.
I mean, I don't know if they've seen enough teen slasher movies, but they sure as hell still get scared.
Yeah, apparently it's just child screams that work or something, so they don't want those teen ones.
Again, they still don't explain why are the children's ones the ones that are powerful, but, it is what it is. Disney. Anyway.
Yeah. Next they have hide and sneak. Someone is coming, this could ruin your night. Stay hidden, take cover, and stay out of sight. And so this is in one of the sorority houses, or one of the frat houses. And it's just intense hide and seek.
Mm-hmm.
Until, like, make sure you don't get seen by a referee, and Mike, like, turns himself into a globe, and Sully is just, like, a rug on the floor, and Don, like, tentacles himself to the ceiling so no one can see him.
Yeah. That's pretty cool that they, they're using their abilities to their
So it's like they have to escape from the house without getting caught.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it all comes down to scare simulators between the two remaining teams, who at the end are Roro Megaroar and Uzma Kappa. And then by that point, Sully's like, I'm a part of the team, and he makes himself an OK t-shirt.
Yeah, they upgrade their merch.
They sneak into Monsters, Inc. at one point.
Oh, yeah, they did, to get some inspiration.
I don't remember which point in between it was.
Yeah.
But at some point they break in there, and then they get chased out, and the mom drops them off. She's like, I'll just be in here listening to my tunes. And it's fantastic. Anyway, enjoyed that.
Yeah, so they go to Monsters Inc. to get inspiration, being
You're like, look at those scarers. What do you see that's the same about them? They're like, nothing. So exactly.
Yes.
There's no one way to be a scarer.
Yes, they're all unique and they have abilities.
Team bonding. And then they all have to run away because the security guard's like, what the fuck are you doing up there, fucker?
And then they try to tell the mother, start the car!
She's like, is everyone buckled? Does anyone want some gum?
Start the car! Go!
And then they get out and have no repercussions from this. There's not cameras.
They didn't get them caught.
Anyway,
they didn't get caught.
That's it. Yeah. And so then they have the scare simulator.
And so right before then, Sully is starting to get a little worried about how Mike's gonna do because he's not scary, and it's like he's worried that when he tries, he's gonna cause them the loss. It doesn't help that the dean is like, breathing down their neck, being like, you.
He had a little chat with the dean. He's like, no hard feelings if we win. She's like, I know one of you for sure isn't scary, so you're not gonna win.
Okay, and then so when they do the scare simulator thing, well, first of all, I like that, Mike is trying to get Sully to be like, okay, actually learning the different scares and stuff like that using strategy. Strategy is great.
Strategy.
I like that. And that's where everyone in Uzma Kappa use their specific strategies to scare the kids in unique ways that's suited to them. So I really liked that.
Yeah. Using
their environment and stuff like that. And so when they get to the final two is Mike versus Johnny. I don't care about this character. Between Mike and Johnny, that's the final two.
Roro Megaroar guy.
Roro Megaroar guy. So
Johnny Wellington the Third.
Mm-hmm. So before then, like we saw Sully being worried, like thinking about it overnight, and he's even trying to like see how scary Mike can get the night before, like trying to get him to scream, and it's like, that's not doing much, and he's like, oh, you did great, man, you did great.
It's totally gonna go really well.
You do that, and so I'm already thinking, oh, he's gonna cheat, isn't he? Oh boy, saw that coming.
Yeah. They get to the event, and he's like, all right, just like we planned, I'm gonna go first. He's like, actually, I think you've gotten us this far. You should go last.
You're right.
Yeah, so they switch up the order. Sully goes before Mike now.
And so it ends up being Mike.
Yeah, they have this head-to-head. They keep showing like the lever or the meter for the scare going up after each person, and Randall bungles his.
And so when Mike goes in, and like he's really giving it his all, and he scares the kid, and then the meter goes off the charts. And then it looks like, they won! Yeah, Uzma Kappa wins! They're back in the monster program. Yay, everyone's happy.
Program.
Trophy and all this stuff. And then afterwards, they're all celebrating still on the field and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it's just Mike and Sullivan, they're holding the trophy. But then, Mike's playing around with the simulator, whatever. And he's noticing that when he does...
like, the sensitivity is, like, really...
Really, really high. What's going on here? He does it numerous times, and he's noticing that's consistent.
He just like snaps at it.
It's
like horrific scream.
Yep. And so he looks under and looks at the...
Sully, how could you do this?
Yep. Sully tampered with the simulator to make it seem like Mike's scare meter went went farther than what it actually was supposed to. And so Mike is upset with Sully, and then he runs off, and then Sully feels really bad, and so he goes and reports. He admits to the dean and the professor.
He's like, I cheated, but my team didn't know.
Yeah, it's all my fault. So you can.
He's learned some humility and like taking responsibility for his actions.
Yeah, so I did appreciate that. But then Mike goes to one of the laboratories
where they make the doors.
Mm-hmm.
To go to the human world.
So he picks one of the most dangerous doors.
They're like, we have to decommission this door because it's so dangerous. And he decides that's the one. He locks himself in there with the door. Mm-hmm. No one can get to him, and then he goes in.
Yep, and then he tries to scare... Okay, so apparently the portal leads them to this camp.
Yeah, it's a camp. So there's like 12 girls there.
Yep.
It's like Girl Scout camp or something.
Mm-hmm. And it's in the middle of the night, and he tries to scare one of them.
And they're like, who are you? You're so cute, little green man.
And then all the girls wake up, and they're all surrounding Mike.
He runs out, and now Sully like breaks into the room to go and try and save Mike. And he gets in there, he's like, they weren't afraid of me.
It's like, I'm not scared.
Now there's cops there.
Yeah, so I did like there was this heart-to-heart that Mike and Sully had by the lake after. He was like, they're not scared of me. I was like, I'm not scary, whatever. And then like they have this heart-to-heart being like, you know, you're still are very valuable as a scare because you know the strategies, you know what scares it takes to scare what kind of kid and whatever.
So you're a great coach.
You're a great coach.
Oh.
Thank you? Question mark? I guess. I mean, even though
make me feel better, but
yeah,
cool.
I appreciate them trying to break things down, but that still feels like second place. So yeah, then the police finds them, and then
they're getting chased through, and they're like, how are we gonna get back? They turn the door off from the other side.
Yeah, right.
Like, wow, we have to scare them so bad that the door works.
Mm-hmm. So Mike strategizes a way to scare the police officers when they come into the cabin.
Yeah, like all the rangers and everyone who's there.
Mm-hmm. And then Sully gives out the biggest roar that he could, and then he scares all the police officers, and then it like not only does it turn the door back on, everything explodes in the monster world because
like, holy shit! Like, everyone's like, how the fuck did you do that?
How did you do that?
And then they get expelled.
And they get expelled. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I guess they it looks like they're about to go their separate ways, but then
they're like, hey.
We could.
The mailroom's hiring
at Monsters Inc. Yeah,
we're always hiring in the mailroom.
Yeah. Okay. So they end up getting mailroom jobs, and then they work their way up to becoming scares at Monsters Inc. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is one of the things that I hear, that a lot of people talk about with this movie, about that overall message at the end, where it's like, you're not defined by you going to a university, like college is not for everyone. Everyone has their own journey in life. And it's
sometimes even going to college doesn't mean you're going to get the job you want in the field you want.
Exactly. So
like me.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Oh no. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't found anything either. Trying to be a filmmaker, so it'll happen. It's okay.
High five.
High five.
Woo! Yeah. Eventually it'll work out, but
eventually.
Sometimes it doesn't work out right away.
Right. So I did appreciate that, because that was one of the things that I was upset with them making this movie. It's like, okay, so all of them are just defined by them going to this college, and it's like, okay, there's a scare program here, but what other programs are there at a monsters university? Like, is this...
Well, it's making the scare canisters and the doors, so, like, engineering and, like, power management, I guess.
Okay.
Would be in there. They talked about biology department at one point because they were talking about the urchin things. But, like, they don't really give us a full overview of what would be in the scare college, or the university as a whole.
Mm-hmm. So it would have been extremely cliche, like after all this stuff that happened to them, it was like at the end of the movie, they all graduate, they walk the aisle, and they move on with their lives. And we're like, oh, this is the most basic.
They get expelled.
Yeah, could have been the most basic cliche shit, but I actually respect them for going a different direction. Be like, oh no, they did get expelled. Well, they didn't. They didn't. They didn't become alumni of Monsters University. They found a different way in life to do it. So I commend them for doing that. We just have to sit through a whole bunch of ridiculous kitty shit up to that point. That's what's frustrating about it, you know?
And I feel like some of the stuff they do in this movie takes away from moments in the first one, like knowing that they've already been to the human world and managed to get out of it kind of takes away from, like, the gravity of their situation when they get banished in the first movie. And I'm just like, okay. So, like, they already knew they could get back then, if that's how they're setting this up.
Right.
And that kind of takes away from that moment and all the stuff Mike talked about. Like, doesn't it matter that I'm never going to see Celia again?
Right.
Like, it's kind of taken away a lot of that, weight of that moment in the first movie.
Oh, and speaking of that, they just revealed that Roz is the leader of the CDA, even though that was a secret in the first movie. But they just revealed themselves. But now you can just know
it, like, from this one. So, like, if people are going to watch them in chronological order rather than, like, release order.
Mm-hmm. It'd be like, oh, that's an inconsistency.
Just reveal something. Also, in the first movie, it says that they've known each other since the 4th grade, and now it's having them meet in university, but whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah. There's, like, they're putting in some inconsistencies from themselves.
Like, what are you,
Yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, I don't like that they have, like, the scare cards, and they have, like, oh, these scares are, like, famous athletes, basically.
Yeah, it's like they're college football players or something. It's like, what?
Yeah, and it's not the vibe you get in the first movie about the scarers, like...
Yeah.
In the first movie, it's like, oh, we respect them because they do a dangerous job. It's not, we respect them because they're so cool, and have you seen the scare card for this person? They got this many scares and this long, and whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know.
And the most convenient thing with going back to Randall, the thing that turns him into an antagonist is because... Oh, he got mad because Sully outscared him in the
scare games.
Scare
like,
simulator.
That's a really, like...
Like, really? Like, that's what's gonna...
Does anyone really care about someone beating them at something in college? Like, once you get to your professional career? Like, oh, this person got a better score on this test than me. Are you ever gonna remember that?
And, like, I will never lose to you again, Sullivan.
Like, okay. Oh, we beat you in the scare games. You're still at the school for 3 more years. You'll probably win the next 3.
Yeah.
Whatever. Who cares?
Who gives a shit? But yeah, come on. Pete Docter, he directed the first movie and he produced this. How did you not look at the script and be like, okay, wait, that's inconsistent. Wait, that doesn't make sense with the first movie. Let's switch that. These are easy mistakes to fix, too. Yeah. Like...
It's like, and I get that sometimes they're trying to do nods to it, but, like, if it's revealing information that's supposed to be, like, a big thing in the other movie, maybe you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's not a good thing. Not a good thing.
Anyway.
But, I mean, overall, is this a bad movie?
It's fine.
No, it's not.
But it's not the level of the first one.
No. It's...
Did we need it? No.
Absolutely not. But it's like, even if we didn't need it, was I glad that I watched this? Kinda, I guess. I mean, I'm not offended by this.
Yeah, it's fine, but, like, I watched again for this review. I've now seen it twice. Do I feel the need to see it again? No.
Yeah, it's like, I don't feel the need to watch this again.
Yeah. Monsters, Inc., would I watch that again right now? Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a great movie.
Like, I don't think I came back and watched Monsters University since... when it came on TV.
Yeah, like, legitimately, I've watched it twice. Like, the first time someone else wanted to watch it, and I'm like, sure, whatever. And then when we're like, oh, we're gonna review something, oh, I don't remember really what happens in that movie. I'm gonna rewatch it before we review it.
Right, so...
yeah, so, like, it's fine. Is it as good as the first one? No.
No. But, you know, it's not...
Could they have done a different thing for a sequel?
There's
yes.
so many other things they could have done for a sequel.
It probably would have been more interesting.
Probably more interesting. Like, I mean, I know they have the Monsters at Work show, and we don't know if
I haven't watched that yet, so...
I haven't either. We'll talk about that soon, but, like, I don't know if they're going to give us more of what we want from a sequel, or if they're going to do a Monsters, Inc. 2. Monsters, Inc. 2, maybe they'll do that. I don't know. If they'll do a Monsters, Inc. 2, I don't even know. I don't know. But yeah, it's a middle of the road Pixar film. This is not the quality of the classics, but you know what? It's something that the kids could watch. You know,
turn it on for them. They'll think it's funny.
Right.
There's a lot of slapstick.
A lot of bright colors and creative looking, cool looking
Animation's
monsters.
beautiful.
Animation's beautiful. So
That's good. But
And,
like plot maybe lacking.
lacking. So yeah, overall, Monsters University is just Uzma Kappa.
I've been waiting for that. This
I
whole
was
time, haven't
waiting
you?
for that.
You're like, I got this perfect joke.
Yes. But yeah, it's just okay.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, that's our thoughts on Monsters University. What did you guys think about
Yeah.
it? You guys love it? You guys hate it? You guys think it was okay? There is a
Do you
fan
think
base.
it's Uzma Kappa?
Do you think it's Uzma Kappa? Let us know. I do know there is a fan base for this movie, so you know.
Some people are
Some
into
people
it.
are into it. That's
Is it
fine.
us? No.
Yeah, no, it's not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell if you want to be notified in future videos we will be doing. More Halloween theme or spooky theme Disney movies coming really soon.
Know what you want to see.
Yep, I'm sure you want us to talk about
Hocus Pocus. I have a Hocus Pocus cup right now. It glows in the dark.
Yeah.
It says "Witches be trippin'," and it has the Sanderson sisters on it.
The movie
That's great.
movie be tripping as well.
Oh shit! We're gonna fight on the podcast.
Probably will. Tune in for that. It comes out. But yeah, that's all we have for you Disney fans.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yep, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, comment, all that good stuff, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.